Well, ladies and gentlemen, I feel like it's a broken record at this point. Every time we start a video like this, we always start it the same exact way, which is Ubisoft ain't doing too good, okay? Like, Ubisoft is clearly not doing too good. We can kind of see that through a multitude of different facets. We could see it with their games bombing. We could see it with their stock price plummeting. We can see it with the restructuring and the delaying of Assassin's Creed Shadows. We can see it with a multitude of things. Well, there's a new rumor going around now, and it's actually been semi-confirmed, but rumor is that Ubisoft has disbanded the Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown development team.
Who's laughing now?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, they have decided to close down this development team because this game obviously flopped. You know, it only had about 1,400 concurrent at the highest, and I don't believe it's anywhere near that anymore. I think it's down to like the double digits, 40, 50 players or something like that at this point. The game was a massive failure for the most part. Not exactly sure what the budget was for this. It's pretty obvious that they went with the typical style with this Prince of Persia, with the modern audience fade, you know, the Killmonger haircut that every black person seems to have. But still, you got Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown being a massive flop, and what else is new? So let's get into this article, guys, from that Park Place. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. So it says a new rumor alleges that Ubisoft disbanded the Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown development team. This rumor comes from French YouTube channel Origami, whose host detailed that at the Ubisoft Montpellier office, employees were seen transporting boxes of supplies from one floor to another. He notes that the reason for this was being done was because Ubisoft disbanded the Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown development team. Using YouTube's translate function, the Origami host states in recent days at Ubisoft Montpellier, we are transporting boxes from one floor to another, and it is quite a simple because it is that of dissolution, not announced to the public, but completed of the team Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. So again, the translation is a little bit rough because, you know, it's going from, you know, French or whatever to this now. But still, this studio is obviously just I don't know if they're going to be completely disbanded. Some of them might be absorbed into, you know, other areas of Ubisoft. But, you know, at the end of the day, man, these kind of games, if they don't make their money, they are just going to get completely torched. This is what happens to these studios. I am still shocked that Firewalk Studios is still around. And considering that Firewalk Studios for Concord hasn't announced any kind of closure or layoffs or anything, that leads more evidence that they're actually going to bring the game back at some point. But this is a one and done, right? Prince of Persia: Lost Crown, if it wasn't going to hit, if it wasn't going to sell, then they weren't going to stick around. That was basically it. And considering that Ubisoft is just taking L after L lately, with Star Wars Outlaws being a massive flop, with Skull and Bones, you know, being a massive flop, the biggest flop. Skull and Bones, by the way, is the biggest flop in gaming right now for this year or in general, and nobody's really talking about it, right? Because Concord took all the news, even though Skull and Bones cost double the amount of money than in Concord and lost Ubisoft a godly amount of money. It's ridiculous. And then on top of that, obviously you guys know they have Assassin's Creed Shadows that has gotten delayed as well till next year, Black History Month. So it's a mess. It is an absolute mess. There's talks about sales to Tencent. There's talks about all this stuff. It's an absolute mess over at Ubisoft. But then the host went on to share that the decision to disband the team was made shortly after the game released at the beginning of the year. It released on January 18, 2024 on Nintendo Switch, Xbox, and PlayStation. He said it was clear in the spring, in fact, a few patches, a DLC, and we are packing up. Then it says, here's the most important part, and this goes to the whole toxic positivity thing, right? And I understand, you know, you want to try to make a game succeed. You want to like not admit failure right out the gate. I totally get that. But at the end of the day, man, you can't expect a company that sees 1,400 concurrent players on a game that probably had, you know, I don't know what, 20, 30, $40 million budget. You can't look at that and say, you know what, we're going to let you do a couple of DLCs. Yeah, cost us some more money. We clearly didn't learn the first time. You can't really expect them to do that. But watch this. So it says, while Ubisoft management had made the decision to move on from the game shortly after it was released, the host claimed that some members of the core development team fought for 2 DLCs in an attempt to change the minds of management. However, Ubisoft management were unconvinced, especially given the game's sales were below expectations. Instead, they wanted to reallocate the team to more potentially lucrative projects. Furthermore, the team was told that if they were to release a sequel, it could cannibalize long-term sales of the first game. And that's actually true, right? If this game was already a failure out the gate, the last thing you're going to want to do is to sell anything that might distract from the game that's already a failure, right? People are not going to want to buy the first game if there's something else available or a sequel or anything like that, because nobody's going to buy the second game either anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Nobody bought the first one. Ubisoft did publicly announce reallocation of resources within its company back in May, where it revealed it was scrapping development of The Division Heartland at Red Storm Entertainment and reallocating resources to bigger opportunities such as X-Defiant and Rainbow Six. Furthermore, the company announced that its strategic focus was to regain leadership in open-world adventures and expand footprint as games as a service native experiences by leveraging ongoing efforts on proprietary cutting-edge technologies as a differentiating factor. Now, all this means is that, hey, we didn't learn shit, right? That's all this means. They want to go back to being known for open world experiences, but they want to throw in that caveat of live service games because they absolutely are still trying to make that a thing. They don't realize that people love their games because they were great single player experiences back in the day. And what ended up happening is the more and more and more that they chased the live service aspect, the more buggy the games became, right? The development on the actual game took a stagnation and they focused more on monetization. And before you know it, they were releasing broken products that people were making fun of. This is a huge problem. If you are trying to chase continuously live service games, do you think that every game can be a live service game? Do you think there's enough gamers in order to play multiple live service games at any one given time? Most people only play 1 to 2 live service games at any given time, and you're going to release multiple of them with your company alone when there's thousands of them out there in the market right now? It's not exactly a smart thing, but you know what people are yearning for? You know what people are missing? People are missing good top-tier single-player stories. People are missing good open-world single-player experiences. That's what people are missing. That's what the market is lacking right now. If you can go back and make what Ubisoft used to make, what made you so famous when you were making Far Cry and whatnot, the original series, if you go back to that, you will make money. You will absolutely be able to sell to the real gamer. Now, granted, the issue with this is that your company has a really bad reputation. That's what's really going to hold you back. Even if you did go back to doing what you used to do, at the end of the day, people don't trust you. People don't like you as a company. Your company's favor has completely dropped with real gamers. So you keep pandering to the modern audience. You keep trying to go out there and say, oh, you know, this is who the game is for. And if you don't like it, don't buy it. And then nobody bought your game. They all flopped and now you're here. So we need to discuss business and figure out what you're going to do to try to fix this, because at the end of the day, you're going to have to announce to your investors one way or another, are you selling or are you not? And it looks like as time goes on, all these flops and it looks like you're selling. I'm telling you right now, guys, for all you listening to the video still, I'm telling you right now, if Assassin's Creed Shadows is not a mega hit, okay, I'm not talking about just a regular hit. I'm talking about a mega hit. We are talking about having to make up money for Star Wars Outlaws. We're talking about having to make up money for Skull and Bones. We're talking about having to make up money for this game. If Assassin's Creed Shadows is not a mega uber hit, we're talking 5-10 million copies, Ubisoft is done and they're going to have to sell to somebody. And most likely it will be Tencent. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.